Alright, just making sure that this is actually on and going. So I'm going to be recording a series of warm-up exercises that I learned in a dynamic sketching course from Norm Sherman. And these are some exercises that I do before I start drawing. I don't do them as much as I used to. I used to be every day, this is how I would start out drawing. But these diagrams down here from the board show a series of different exercises. Each one is a page. This first grouping is a bunch of parallel lines, practicing getting consistent lines and line lengths. Next one is parallel lines with circles, parallel arcs, or arcs you draw over, parallel arcs, waves, you draw 8 waves over each wave, different shapes, kind of random whatever, and then parallel waves. Do circles, circles edge to edge, center to edge, 1 inch, or like small, medium, large. Targeted circles, make a box, draw an X through it, turn to circles with the X right in the middle, dead center. Ellipses, this is you make your right angle, draw a quarter circle from it, come down, and you want to draw ellipses, graduating smaller and smaller. Try and keep the degree about the same on them, with that minor axis the same on all of them. This is the same idea in practice here. You're drawing 2 arcs, and this is going to be working on degrees on your ellipse, as if it were kind of like a slinky going across your field of view. It's plus or minus, I think, a 10-degree arc on this. Draw a cube, and then you want to put a ellipse in perspective on each side. All 3 sets of ellipses together will give you a sphere. You kind of see it laid out here, and then the sphere more in practice there. And if you get into it, you can also do more ellipses, cylinders kind of in perspective, but we probably won't get to that on here. A couple peripheral things on here, like the shapes. Everything is going to be a circle, a cone, a cube, cylinder, or a sphere, a cylinder, a cube, cone, or a pyramid. These are your simple 3D primitives. Everything else is going to be built off that. And this is for a tech pen, like a felt nib. You want to keep your pen at a 90-degree angle to your surface. This lets you control pressure best with your fingertips, and movement is from the arms. So we'll kind of get started. The idea on this first one is you want to do like a 2-inch, a half page, and a full page set of lines. So pretend this is a full page. I want to get one long, as close to straight line as possible. All of this is freehand drawing. The point of this exercise is to practice freehand drawing. So this first one is lines. So this is our first like 2-inch line. And I'm going to go over this 8 times. You want to hit the line as close as possible, and you want to be ending the same spot. So 8 lines, come down, and go over to half page. So one thing you'll do a lot on this is kind of ghost lines before you draw them. It's easier when you actually have like the paper and you don't have this disconnect from digital. I'm drawing on a Intuos tablet and not a sheet of paper, so it's a little harder for me to judge where my lines are going to go. And then this last set is the full page line. And you can see kind of a little bit down on this diagram, the idea is you want to avoid your edges all kind of ending up in different spots and flaying out. You want to keep them as close to looking like one line as possible. So go back up here. Like here, these are spreading apart a lot. That is not ideal. Edges aren't really ending in the same spot. And when you go on like the full page one, take your time, ghost it a few times. That's where you kind of practice sketching the line in midair right above it. You don't want to go too slow. If you go really slow and try and do this, you're going to get like this wobbly thing happening. So when you ghost it, lets you get like a pretty clean, natural full arm motion. And if you mess up, then you mess up. It's just your warm-up. So there's your set of the 8 lines on top of each other. Next is going to be your parallel lines. Usually you can get this on the second half of this page. So it's 8 more parallel lines. Start out with the 2-inch line. So this is the one where you can really see whether you're actually consistently parallel and ending your lines spot. Like, you don't want these wavy lines. That's why you need to go kind of quick, and that's why we practice this. Because you can see when I go quick, I get a pretty smooth, straight line, and when I go a little slower, it naturally will wave a little bit. So that is 7. Here's 8. Wait, is that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's 7. So last line, and they're mostly pretty good in the end. They kind of curve a little bit, and it's all right. We want to have these end as straight as possible. So can't spell 8x parallel lines. Then you're going to do your parallel half-page lines. You always want to be kind of looking ahead on these lines. You want to think, like, where is this going to, and not just like, oh, I drew my line, and I stopped it. And you want to be careful that you don't get this line where it like starts going like that, and then at the end it's going like that. You want to stay nice and kind of parallel the whole way across. And then you would do 8 parallel full page lines. Probably be drawing this with sketchbooks analog to the felt tip pen, which is what I would normally be drawing this with. So I'll swap over there. Ooh, that's really floaty. Pen size. Get in tight. I guess I'll just stick with pencil. I'm pretty zoomed in because this is not a big document. I'm not going to be printing this or anything. Something else you can do with this when you have all this extra space up here that I like to do is kind of bucket it off and do parallel lines at different angles and kind of have that as like a hatch. I want to go over my notes on this, and when you're doing this, what you're going to want to do is practice lines in different directions, starting from different sides. Push, pull your lines, see what is most comfortable to you, and kind of find where your arm works best. Like this is a really awkward angle for me to draw, so I would normally maybe rotate my canvas a little bit. And just try and fill out your extra space like that. You can definitely go over the same line several times on that. So that is the first page of your warm-ups, and that'll cover this first little bit. And then we'll go into arcs. Arcs are treated the same way as lines are. So page 2 is arcs. Start your line, start your page, one long straight line down the side, and your first arcs are going to be, didn't mean to zoom in, your first arcs are going to be 2 inches, 8 over, half page-ish, and then full page. So we're going to start 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to do the half page ones. And then we do the 8 full page arcs. These are also the kind of things that you really need to go smoothly on. If you try and go slow, you're going to get like the natural motion that your arm is going in is going to get broken up. And another important thing to do with this is look at where your arm kind of naturally moves. You can rotate your pages around. So like if that's the easy arc for you and you need to draw this arc, just turn your page a little bit. The hard one is you want to practice the kind of like inverse arc that is not how your arm kind of naturally flows with your shoulder. And these ones are kind of tricky. It's also nice to practice like more extreme arcs, because you're not always going to be drawing like that same smooth arc when you need to draw different things. Your lines are going to be going all over. So that's your second page's arcs. You can, if you're trying to save time on here, you can kind of combine your overlapping 8 times arches with your parallel 8 time arches. So let's call this arcs overlap. And then page 3 can be arcs parallel. And this is the same thing that we did with lines. I'm going to get our nice long line to start. And if we come back down and see that this is really aiming to get the same angles each time and the same kind of endpoints. So we want to make sure these are parallel. We'll just do like 2 inches and then full page ones. So that's our first arc. We want each one that kind of comes after to be spaced evenly, to curve the same way. Like this one kind of breaks more extreme, and we want them all to be kind of more consistent. You want them to be consistent with themselves on the baseline one. Like you should be able to draw there, and that's all going to be the same spot. Like on the front side, it breaks pretty evenly, but it doesn't on the back. and then you're going to repeat that again.